Hello and welcome back to the Co-Pilots podcast. We managed to make it to our second episode. Some were surprised after the quality of the first episode. But
you say some, that's just us two, because we're the only ones that know this exists at the minute.
Shut up. And with me is my good friend Joe, who also likes TV and such.
But very specifically, only the first episodes of TV.
Yeah. Well, it's good. We don't like to get too invested in characters, because they'll die.
Yeah, we watch Walking Dead and Game of Thrones a lot. That's why we can never trust them.
I've stopped picking favourites because of Walking Dead.
Right, what have we watched? What did we watch this week?
Well, we watched Critical.
Which is a British medical drama series that debuted on Sky One on the 24th of February 2015.
And has since been cancelled.
Has it? I didn't know that.
It's not getting a series 2.
It was officially axed. That's a shame, because it was not to spoil what I thought of it, but it was great.
It was very... Okay, we watched something else as well, but we'll talk about that in a bit. So what did you think?
Oh, we're not giving away what okay, although we said it on the last one. Anyway, Critical. Yeah, I was stressed out to fuck watching that.
I know, the format of it reminded me, like, little bits of, like, 24 flashbacks. Just in the way that, like, occasionally they'd just be like, here's a clock. This is how long this is how long is left of this episode. Which is cool. I feel like you don't get enough, like, almost real-time drama.
Yeah, I really liked that sort of, well, if this was a game we'd say mechanic, but I don't know, could it be a script mechanic? I don't know. Anyway, the sort of the format of that. So to sort of describe it, but it's, what is it? Each episode is
an hour.
It's an hour long, and it's based on a single patient, and it's the group
golden hour.
Is that what they call it?
Yeah, because it refers. It's like, because they're like an ER, like an emergency room. A&E, because I'm not American.
Yeah.
So they've got like that first hour of like after a major trauma to like, and these are like high risk patients who are going to die.
If
probably
they don't,
probably regardless anyway. But
yeah,
like, and that first hour is like so critical to their survival. I'm pretty sure that's what the title is referencing.
I think it might be.
But that's why I think that's why the format works.
It's incredibly stressful watching it though, because especially the first 5 minutes. Right, so I was watching it. I made a few notes on it, and so the patient is airlifted in, and you see him being taken from the helipad all the way down into the, they call it the resus. See, there's so much jargon that you probably are accustomed to because your mum's a radiographer.
Yes.
Yep. And so you see them all running down. Oh, BP is blah, blah, over there. Oh, can you go and get the diapter tied, sort of thing. And there's a lot of jargon going on, and it's crazy because so much stuff happens and so much information is presented to you to process, and then you look at the clock and it's like, it's been 5 minutes and so many things have happened. You're like, that was all just 5 minutes, Jesus.
I know. And then like there's like all the like crazy stuff with them not being able to do certain things because of like, oh, you haven't asked this guy, and they're like, but if we don't get to do that, this guy's going to die.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that I noted was it explores a lot of the red tape versus the reality of the situation. And I was thinking, one of the questions I wrote down was, if we were to carry on watching it, would the show explore things like government cuts and understaffing and that sort of thing? Because I
feel like it wouldn't affect that show, like those sort of topics wouldn't, because like, did you look at like the hospital they have and sort of go,
I know,
I've never seen a hospital like that before.
It looks like the TARDIS, doesn't it?
It's
it doesn't
clean.
look like, it looks like a university, doesn't it? A brand new university building or something.
It looks like so like super new and super clean that you can't, like, I couldn't get my head around the fact that these people like knew each other. I was just like, but you've all just started today because this is new. Like, this hasn't been here for a long time.
That's
And it's
the
like it's showing like how like it's like all looks really like quite high tech.
yeah.
When like
Definitely.
other medical dramas, because obviously you have to compare it to them. Like other
But
medical
what-
dramas, like, well, I was going to go for Casualty because I've seen more of Casualty than Hobby City,
Yeah, so have
and like even comparing it to House, like these shows are about like the characters, apart from Critical, which I still don't know who they are or really give a shit. Because I feel
Oh,
like
well,
it's not one of those shows that's about like, oh, this is who I am as a person. It's one of those like, look at all this cool stuff we can do. And that's
Yeah.
probably why it's not being picked up for a second season.
it seems to be more sort of like you're given a skeleton of a character, aren't you? So there's the rookie girl, there's the people who've clearly been doing this for ages, there's the person
Yeah.
who's pissed off, you know, there's a Jobsworth who comes in and says, you shouldn't be doing this without the say-so of this guy. But it's more sort of about how they act professionally,
Like how
rather
they, yeah,
than
like
their
the
interpersonal
interactions they have
relationships.
with like their jobs, like how they interact with what they have to do.
Yeah,
And
but I did
I feel like a lot of other medical shows don't pick that up. Like House is just about House. Like nothing
Yeah.
else matters.
But that was something I absolutely loved about the show, is that everything you learn about the characters is literally from their action. So it could just be the way they look at someone, and you think, okay, I know exactly the relationship going on between you two, and the way that someone, you know, the woman, what's her name, Harry, and she's constantly saying sorry. In the first 5 minutes, she says sorry about 100 times. You're like, well, okay, you're the newbie, you've just been transferred, or you just made it into your first job or whatever. But I thought
Yeah.
that was incredible. It was a really good way of giving you the sort of a subtle nod as to like the tensions and the relationships of the characters.
Yeah, what I quite liked was like, you know, in like medical shows, like they give you this whole like breakdown of like, oh, this is the patient, like, and you get that like almost like 10 minutes of like them walking down a corridor with a patient, and it's just like, oh, so what's wrong with him? Like, oh, he's got a bleeding toe, like, and they're like, and they have all this like talking and like explaining to you exactly what's happening. But in
Yeah,
this,
like
it seems
the
like
exposition.
they just go, here's a patient, and then you learn about the patient and his injuries as the team learn about them.
Yeah, like I said, I wrote down, I started writing down, I put most of the script is unintelligible, but then I thought that's the wrong word. It was like inaccessible is the right, because of course it's completely and perfectly intelligible to the people who are actually in those situations, but for us as an audience, you're sort of sat there like, I've got no idea what any of you are saying, but this is still, you know, it's really, really tense TV, and when they discover new things about the patient, so like they go, okay, so this
Like,
looks
oh,
like
that bit's not meant to be bleeding.
yeah, or like, oh, okay, we thought he was run over, but actually there's a knife blade in his heart.
Yeah, like just like things like that. I feel like it's so different to like what I going into it being like, oh, it's a medical show, like, and then being like, wait, this is a medical show. And then I realized, like, as soon as they pull the jargon out, you're like, oh, this is a medical show.
Yeah.
Because, like, the jargon and stuff, like, isn't used that much. Like, it's used a bit to remind you in Casualty and Holby City, like, this is a medical show. And you're like, is it? Because, like, you've shoehorned the word in, you know, the words blood pressure in there real good. But
Yeah,
I've seen
that's-
them in other shows that aren't about medicine.
It's more a soap opera, isn't it? It's a soap that happens to be in a hospital than like a medical drama. This is absolutely medicine and science. They're the forefront. That's what you watch it for, rather
Yeah.
than the characters.
Which is good, like, because if they'd like dumbed it down so that you could understand, but I feel like if you understood everything they were saying, you'd be like, well, yeah, then he's clearly making the right decision. But like that sort of not
Yeah.
knowing if what they're actually doing is gonna like help the guy. So I imagine there are probably going to be some episodes in this where they fuck it up and they kill the guy.
Yeah, that's what I'd be really interested to see that, because they must do.
Yeah.
But like you were saying just then, the fact that it's so, I don't really want to use the word realistic, but I imagine it's very plausible that is exactly what those situations are like. And I found myself thinking, oh god, this is a drama. I thought at points it was like watching a documentary, apart from the fact that the camera is doing its own thing and the lighting is clearly set up to be shot as a drama. There were points where it was so
it's engrossing real. As well.
Yeah,
because like you just like, I sort of want to like, what's going on, and then like I don't know if it happens in the first episode, but I've seen the second one as well. Like there are points that some of the team just like go off and do their other jobs around the hospital because like they have other things to do.
Or like they lean, like the guy leans back and just has a Twix, and you're like, what are you doing? There's something, but of course they're like, well, we do this every day. This extraordinary thing you're seeing, this is mundane for us. This is every day.
Yeah, and obviously there are points that like, because everyone on the team has like a different skill set, so there are some things that some of them probably just can't do.
Yeah,
like you couldn't just sort of go like, oh, he's got a knife in his heart. This guy is a specialist in children's feet.
Yeah,
and we're just gonna get him to do it. Like, is that okay?
Well, that's one of the points of tension, because Lorraine, the character of Lorraine, she seems to be, I don't know what the title is, but she's sort of like head honcho, and then she disappears for long sections of it, and you don't see her. Like, she disappears at sort of minute, I think 20 or something, and you don't see her again. So then I think I could be getting this wrong, but I think it's Fiona. She steps in and she's saying, right, we're doing this, and everyone's going, you can't do that without waiting for Lorraine to say so. And it's clear she has to then make the choice, okay, do I do things as it were by the book,
or do we save this guy's life?
Or do we save him?
That seems to be like the recurring theme of it, because in like, I know we're talking about pilots, but in the second episode you meet Lenny James Morgan. I can't remember what his character's name is. Glenn. Man, that's a boring ass name.
Oh, Glenn.
Yeah, his character name in this is Glenn Boyle.
Sorry, you threw me then because you said Morgan. You said, I can't remember his character name. I was like, well, he's Morgan in The Walking Dead. Oh no,
because he comes in like sort of in the same sort of situation. He comes in like they've done like the initial like, these are her injuries, I think, and then he just comes in and just goes, hey, I'm the boss.
Yeah.
And then just gets on with it.
I got that feeling from the sizzle bit at the end where it says, next time on Critical.
Yeah.
That sort of thing. So bringing up Walking Dead, there was something I wanted to talk to you about, because with Walking Dead, how do you feel about the gore? Does it bother you?
No.
See, the viscera
Not
and
really.
the gore, the blood and guts, for some reason in Critical, it really gave me the heebie-jeebies. And I like horror films with gory shit, but for some reason, I think it might be the juxtaposition between the cleanliness of the hospital and sort of the reality of the situation.
I think it's a situational thing.
Oh, it shocked me actually, and I was surprised because I
It's because you don't normally see that on like medical shows, which is why this is a post-Watershed show. It's like 9 p.m. It has to be after 9 p.m. because it has that level of like, we're going to show you some things that you might not want to see.
Boy, do they show you some things.
And they're just like, but this is the show. Like, this is like, what I like is they're not really like they're taking risks. They took a big risk and didn't make season 2, but
see, that's a shame, because I don't know how the rest of the series goes, but I really enjoyed what I watched.
I can see why it might not get a season 2, because like it's good. It's a good like short run thing. Like, I'd say probably 6 episodes for season 1 would have been perfect, but it looks like they did more than that.
13, I think they did.
18? 13? Well, everyone's been in 13. The thing says 18th episode, but that's probably wrong.
Maybe that was where it got cancelled.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, so there's 13 episodes. But yeah, I'd say that's maybe too long. considering like the whole
Well,
premise of the show is like we have an hour to do a thing. Like I could imagine that to maybe get boring
Yeah, it's quite
and
formulaic,
maybe
actually,
repetitive.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of
my
like,
God,
we spend 20 minutes learning a thing, and then another 20 minutes fixing one thing, and then
And then something else
twist, there's
goes
another thing, and then they fix that, and it's all fine.
That was there's a bit where they take the patient in for an MRI scan or CT scan or whatever the correct thing is.
If it's the big one with the magnets and MRI,
That's the one.
and if he's got a
And,
knife blade in his heart, that's not
Well,
good.
that's why they suddenly panicked, because they were scanning him. They didn't know he'd been victim of a stabbing. The doctor runs out and goes, "Who put metal in my MRI machine?" And I just freaked out. Oh shit!
Yeah,
Because that would have hurt. Because it would
That would hurt a lot.
it would have flown out of him.
yeah, it would have just
Wouldn't it?
ripped its
It would-
way out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are some strong ass electromagnets. But yeah, like
Has your mum watched this show?
no, I don't think so. Anyway, I haven't asked.
I'd be really interested to see because she works in
I'd be really interested to see like
how realistic
like
it
a
is.
like someone who understands all this stuff that I don't,
Yeah,
like how
But-
what they would take, like what their take on it would be.
yeah, but crucially, she's not in a like an A&E, is she? She's just a.
No, I think she's worked with A&E,
Oh, okay.
because like she just works in an apartment that just do the scans.
But I thought that on a technical level, if nothing, this is absolutely you've highlighted something for me here, like with the whole, the characters aren't explored greatly. It's just their professional roles, and in that sense, on a show, on a technical level, the show is incredibly well done. Like there's some brilliant editing. Like the first 5 minutes, I'll come back to that again. It was edited so fast, and you've got no idea what's going on. But everything, it was very clean cut, and it was very fast paced thing.
I think that
And-
adds to like the appeal of the show, in that it's
Oh,
just sort
yeah.
of like it's almost pushing that agenda of like, okay, we need like this is how, like if we make a mistake in any one of these shots, like you'll notice if the editing's bad, but if the doctors make a mistake, this guy's gonna die. And like it just
Yeah.
adds to that like building like the tenseness of, like you start to like with like you're almost setting the tempo, which is like then like increasing, like as the tempo's increasing, like with all these like quick shots and stuff, then you get like a sense of urgency. It took me a really long time to come up with the word urgency. But yeah, because they have to like make these really fast decisions, or the guy could die. And the thing is, like other medical shows, you get patient comes into the hospital, and then you stay with one. If it's like you stay with one patient, you stay with them until they're better and they leave. But this is until they're in a stable enough state for someone else to fucking deal with it.
Yeah, that'd be an
Like,
interesting sort of
you don't
sister
even
show.
know. So you don't even know what happens afterwards. For
Yeah.
all you know, afterwards, like they just wheel them out into like a little corridor and just push them in a big hole and go, "We saved you for an hour."
We've done
Get
our
out.
job.
Yeah. I think it's interesting not to have that like proper resolution.
Yeah.
I quite like that, because there are so often in like shows and stuff that you get to the end, you're like, well, that was a nice hour-long self-contained story, and then sometimes it doesn't make you want to come back for more. But this makes you just sort of want to go like, wonder what happens, wonder what the next one's going to be.
Yeah. Yeah, and I've completely forgotten what I was going to say. Sorry about that.
Sorry, I talk a lot.
No, that's fine. I think. Do you know what? I really think I'm pretty much. Oh, that's it. I want to talk about the ending of the first episode. Oh yeah, I was going to ask like what certificate you thought it was, because there is no way that's. Well, I was going to say actually.
I'd say it's in between like a 15 and an 18. I'd say
that would be a very low 18, but quite a high 15. But then I was thinking, there's no malice when there is gore on screen. There's no malintent on it. They're doing it for a good reason. So actually, could you not argue the case for it to be a 15?
I think you'd probably get away with a 15.
I think so. But the ending, so having watched this hour of TV and just watching these guys just do the most amazing things under extreme pressure. One of the characters, she walks out into the foyer of the hospital, and over the PA system comes this voice saying something like a colleague announcement. Could the emergency team prepare for what do they say? Prepare for multiple incoming casualties. And you just think, Jesus Christ, they've just done all this, and now they have to do it again, but with more people. And actually that led me on to thinking, I wonder if they'll do an episode where it's not just one patient, when they've got to split the team, stretch over 2 patients.
Yeah, that would be interesting. I'm just looking at like the synopses of like all the episodes to see.
The synopses.
Synopsi?
Synopsi. Anyway, I think I'm pretty much, that's me out of things that, to say about Critical. I really enjoyed it.
I'm probably going to at some point sit and just watch the rest of them.
Well, that was what I was going to, my next question, I think we should start doing this, is just say, do you think you're going to continue with it?
I think with Critical, definitely, yeah.
I reckon
because also there's 13 episodes. I've seen 2 of them already, so it's not like it's another few hours. But the thing, like, because I didn't watch them with adverts, because I watched them on our Sky, because I'm pretty sure they were in the box set section on Sky.
Yeah.
So I didn't see them with adverts.
I didn't either.
What would be interesting is if, when it's shown and there were adverts, if like the show just keeps going in the background. And so like you break away for like 5 minutes of adverts, and then you come back and you're just like, wait, the fuck is going on? This is not, like, he is a lot more dead than he was before the ads.
That'd be really interesting, actually. I wonder if
that must be extremely tricky to write though and shoot,
I know.
Because then you've got to right, so we need this length of time for adverts, and of course adverts themselves a little edited short film, so then you've got to think, okay, so now we've got to piece together adverts that are this length, and that can get tricky.
Yeah. Well, I quite like when things just like, because like with like specifically, I know with like some of the comic book shows I watch, they account for the fact that like the Christmas break, it's been a few months, and they just go, sort of over this time some stuff has happened. It's not important enough to show you, but like some stuff has happened.
Yeah,
and I quite like that like things just keep moving.
Going back to, we're going to keep doing this, we're going back to The Walking Dead. In between like series 1 and 2, there is no gap, and then 2 and 3, I don't think there's a gap, and then but 3 and 4,
then they start like
there
introducing that like there is a gap of X amount of time.
Yeah, it's like a year or 6 months. But
yeah.
Anyway, so yeah,
that's Critical, and that was really good. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, I'm really I'm glad you enjoyed it, because I put it in there sort of like as a, this is one of those things that I hadn't heard about until my dad was just like, oh, I'm gonna watch this, and I was just like, oh, I'm gonna stay. And
it felt as compelling as Spooks, really, and it was nice that it was a British thing.
It is always nice when, because a lot of this list that we've got is American.
Yeah, I mean, I tried to pick out some British thing, and you know,
the thing is, we'll
get around to doing some British
stuff.
Not
a lot of like, there's some good British TV, but there's not a lot of like new British TV. Yeah, and there's not like, because we have not like limited interest, but I have a very specific sort of like scope of interest.
Well, I'm sort of looking at any
like, I'm open
TV
to
show.
Like watching stuff.
Yeah. Maybe not get into it, but you know.
All we're watching like an hour, and it's fine.
Should we have a little Scooby on over to our next
I
pilot.
suppose it's about time we maybe, like, because we just kind of skipped over what it was. It's like,
Oh,
we
yeah, we
watched
haven't
another
even
thing.
Should we just let's not refer to the title of the show for the whole thing.
You know that we're
Right.
going to, though.
So,
Yeah, we're gonna have to.
It's so
Okay.
bad.
What? It's bad?
No, because we're bad
Oh, I see.
at, like, everything.
so yeah, Penny Dreadful. It's there's another one that's shown on Sky over here. British American horror drama television series.
Yeah,
It's,
I didn't know what to expect when, like, because I've seen thumbnails of it and like
Yeah.
little like bits here and there, and all of them are just Eva Green, like dressed
yeah,
in like
that
19th
Victorian
century
sort of-
like clothing. I'm just like,
I think it's 20th century. Oh no, it is the 19th century because it's 1888 because the Jack the Ripper. Anyway, so go on then, lay it on me. What did you think? Because this is my choice for this week. I've already, you know.
I thought like it was pretty interesting. It's not really what I expected it to be. It reminded me like a bit like of Constantine a little bit.
Yeah, I can see why.
Because like obviously there's like Constantine's a very like supernatural show, and so it reminded me quite a lot of that, which isn't a bad like I fucking loved Constantine, and then like it was good though. I enjoyed like the big reveal of like Frankenstein's monster and what his like what the doctor's name is. The
Yeah,
whole
I
thing, was
love
like,
that.
oh, he's not that important. Like he's just they're not even giving it a name yet. He's just the Doctor. But apparently they can be important too. And yeah, like I was not expecting it. I clocked like halfway through when there was that big like he went on and on about like the veil between life and death, and I was like, oh, it's Frankenstein, isn't it? Yeah, that's Frankenstein.
And you got it right.
Or I don't remember very much of like classic horror. And then there was the big reveal, and I didn't expect them to get into Frankenstein's monster so quickly and make it look
Yeah.
like such an accident. But like it's like, oh, I've just sewed this guy together. I don't really know what I'm gonna do. Oh, I'm just gonna bumble around in a lightning storm. Like, oh shit, I've made a monster.
See, I won't spoil it for you in case you do go and carry on with it, but they do a really brilliant twist with Frankenstein's monster in the second episode. Like, something changes and you'll go, oh shit, I wasn't expecting that, but it's really well done. So yeah, the first episode, or the pilot, as we like to call them, when I was watching it, I was thinking, this is just, it's like a mix between Van
Very
Helsing.
Van Helsing, isn't it?
That really terrible, but I love it film. And the X-Files, it kind of feels like they're... Oh, that's it. That was what I was going to say. It was like Van Helsing meets X-Files meets Torchwood.
I can see that.
Because you have, what's his name? Ethan Chandler, Josh Hartnett. He joins up with Sir Malcolm Murray, played by Timothy Dalton, and, what's her name? Vanessa Ives, played by Eva Green.
Yes.
And they sort of hire him and say, look, come with us, we're going to go and look at some supernatural shit, and you know, if you enjoy it, we'll keep you on call. And they go and find a vampire nest. Oh, I loved it. You know me,
I
I
thought
like my
the vampires
horror,
looked
man.
really good.
They did.
I thought like they were like, because there was like sort of like the prime vampires, like the older vampires. I'm guessing like the original
the more
vampires.
sort of, the more F.W. Murnau,
I'm
Nosferatu things.
actually a monster. sort
yeah,
of ones.
yeah, definitely.
And like they did a really good job of like very, not even like subtly differentiating between like this is a vampire and this is a person who's been bitten by a vampire. Like they still look like people. They have hieroglyphics under their skin.
Yeah, that was a really interesting angle. I hadn't seen that before. The sort of the link between vampirism and Egypt. I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, it's not really what I didn't expect that at all, really. Because like when you see Frankenstein like cut, you're just like, and it's just like, what is that? Why? Why is that
And
there?
the hieroglyphics under the skin.
Yeah. And I thought that was That was pretty weird. So I was just like, it's not an association I've ever made. The association is always Dracula and Transylvania. That's the place.
Yeah.
And sort of like that bit of the world. It's never like, because traditionally vampires don't like the sun. And from what I've heard of Egypt, it's very hot and there is a lot of sun.
They do have nighttime in Egypt.
Nah, they don't. They don't. But yeah, like, so it's not. I don't think you'd associate it with somewhere more like dark and rainy than light, and it's a desert mostly.
Like London. What did you think of the opening? Because it really caught me off guard. I wasn't expecting it. But the
I didn't know. I didn't realise that was like that, because I thought that was introducing like Eva Green's character as like a little girl.
yeah, that's
And
what I
being
thought.
like, oh look, and she's gonna grow up to be like like, because obviously I sort of got that like they were gonna go hunting some stuff. Eventually, I got that when they went hunting stuff. But I thought they were introducing like Eva Green's character, like her young character, and it was going to be like her big revenge story of like, I'm going to find out what did that. But it wasn't. But I only found that out when I read something. I was just like reading, and I was just like, it opens with, okay. And I was expecting like and then it jumps 40 years, or however old Eva Green is, 20, 30 years.
Yeah, so like,
But and
I
then
think it's
it
about
doesn't.
20.
And I didn't realise that she's actually not linked to that character entirely.
No, it's just a. I think I'm not sure if you actually discover. Well, I can't remember, but or in later episodes, but it's set around the time of the Jack the Ripper murders as well.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, because they're starting like towards the end of the first episode. They're like, oh, is he back? Because obviously they're all from the West Country-ish, and
Yeah, in London, we're all oh, sir, people around the waterway, sir. No one talks like that, sir.
yeah, well, whatever. But yeah, they're starting to realise that maybe the Ripper's back. And
But
yeah,
it seems to be something a bit more supernatural, unless Jack the Ripper. Because where I've got to in the show, Jack the Ripper he's been forgotten about a little bit. But you do see Sir Malcolm offering to help out with the Ripper case.
yeah. I thought you might at some point.
What did you think of Sir Malcolm Murray? Because I was watching him thinking, do you know what? If you carry on the way you're going, you could end up being one of my favourite characters in all of fiction. I really like him.
I thought it was a really interesting character. In
Yeah.
that, like, part of you wants to see him as like sort of that like bumbling old man who's just like, oh, maybe vampires. But then he's like, he's so like on it with like who he picks to help him.
Yeah.
Like he just sees through like all like, it seems like he sees through like just that layer of just bullshit. Just goes like,
You
You'll
don't
help.
know. You don't know how right you are. The episode I've just finished, it explains the relationship between Vanessa and Sir Malcolm, and you are absolutely right. There is an absolute reason why he's picked her to help her look for Mina, his daughter.
does it
Which
have something to do with like the weird magic voodoo sort of stuff she does in that room with the cross and the spiders?
Kind of. I mean, in a fashion. In fact, yes. But
Okay, that's good, man. I'm glad we settled that.
is it in the pilot that he says, "Oh, we're looking for my daughter Mina"? Is it that one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, what does the name in this context? What does the name Mina mean anything to you? I'm not sure if you
No.
know that. Okay. Well, see, I don't know how much I should say because I don't want to. Are you going to carry on with it, or are you not going to? Did you? So you
I probably
enjoyed it?
will,
Did you enjoy it?
But I accidentally clicked on a thing. She's from Dracula. That's the original, like the actual character. Like, the name comes from
Mina,
Dracula.
Yeah. And they capture a vampire later on in the show, and he refers to the Master, and he's very much like the Renwick character from the book. like he's almost possessed by Dracula, but he communicates with him, and he refers to him as the Master. But it's a strange one actually, because you won't know this because you've only seen the pilot, but the rest of the episodes, it doesn't quite. It takes quite a while to intertwine everybody's stories together. So you have an episode exploring Frankenstein monster's background, and then you have one exploring Dorian Gray comes into it. Do you know Dorian Gray from the Oscar Wilde story?
Roughly. Not. It's not something I've read or seen.
He keeps a portrait in his attic which keeps him youthful,
young,
but the portrait is decaying. Actually, I've just realised you don't meet Billie Piper's character.
No, because you said she was in it, and she's not.
She does the most amazing Irish accent. Like, well, to my ears anyway, it doesn't sound horrendous. I don't know much. You know, I'm sure people from Ireland could pick up on the little intonations, like, she shouldn't say it like that. She'd say it like this. But she sounds genuinely Northern Irish, and it doesn't sound like her at all. But she's brilliant in the show.
That's good. I'm just like looking at the cast, and like it's like there are some big names there.
Yeah.
Most of like Eva Green and Timothy Dalton are the big names that like stand out. Billie Piper to a lesser extent. I've recognised Joshua Hartnett, but I don't know what I've seen him. Black Hawk Down. I see.
Pearl Harbor.
I haven't seen Pearl Harbor.
Oh, don't bother. Rory Kinnear's in it, who you'll know from Skyfall.
All right, and Helen McCroy's in it as well.
Who is a Harry Potter alumni?
Narcissa Malfoy in Harry Potter.
Thought so.
Yep.
Thought so.
And she's in Skyfall.
That's why you know that person.
She's actually in a lot of things.
Who's she in Skyfall?
One sec. I just found out she's in an interview with a vampire as well.
Oh yeah. Oh no, she's in an interview with the Vampire Chronicles, which I think.
She's in Inside Number 9 as well.
Is she? Oh, which is another one of our favourite shows that we have to do, which got renewed for a third series. Did you see that yesterday? They announced it.
Yeah, you tweeted it at me, so it made my phone make a noise.
I was really excited. Oh yeah, The Harrowing. Yeah, she's in the one that's really awful.
I can't even remember which one The Harrowing was.
The Harrowing is, to divert from Penny Dreadful slightly, is the one where the schoolgirl goes into that old guy's house.
Oh yeah.
And they're all talking about purgatory and that sort of thing.
Ugh.
But anyway, so what do you think about the sort of period setting?
I like the
that
setting.
interests you?
Like, it's a setting like that does genuinely like pique my interest of like things that are set there, because like it's not like that sort of medieval sort of fantasy setting that like I know that I dig. Because I'm just like, man, that is so great. Like, look at all the swords and the armor and the hitting and the killing. But then, and then like, there's all the like the modern like super high tech stuff that I watch as well. And then there's like that bit of just not far enough ago that like it's not familiar, but like it still feels sort of almost quite current, apart from all the horses and stuff.
There's sort of flashes of technology that we still have today that keeps it, you know,
there's like there's enough there to sort of like be like, oh yeah, no, I can totally dig while that's happening.
Even things like revolvers, you know, they're still around, so it connects you to it there. But I just love, you know, Victorian Gothic fiction, but not even necessarily out of this country.
The saying fits the stories perfectly. And just because of like that era and like especially like the architecture and stuff of that time would have led, maybe if these things were possible and real, like to places for that stuff to hide. Like just the way that like the city, like, because obviously like London's developed like that, and it's just like what we've done is we've knocked down a city and we're just building a new one on top of it, and we might have forgot to like fill in some of the gaps, so there might be vampires in there. Which is fine.
See, that's really nice. I really like that, what you just said there. That was a really nice sentence. I enjoyed it.
What, that there might be vampires down there?
Well, no, just the fact that you knock down the city and you build the new one on top of it. I really like that. That's really cool. The idea
Okay.
that there's this underlying.
That's sort of what
malevolence
that's sort of what happened. Maybe
Yeah.
not quite like that, but like it.
But
And it's like
there's-
one of those, especially like in Victorian times, it was one of those sort of like overcrowded cities. So like, you wouldn't notice people going missing unless the vampires leave them in the streets.
Yeah, much less surveillance as well. So obviously it'd be easier to
Yeah.
steal someone nowadays. What I was also going to say, well, actually, just on an offshoot, hopefully we'll be exploring Victorian London with Assassin's Creed, because that's coming out in a few days, and that'll be fun.
6 months.
6
Because
months.
I'm waiting for PC.
Wait, it's not coming out on PC. We're diverted here, but I'm really annoyed now. I thought. Anyway, yeah, I'm.
We'll talk about that in a
Really?
bit.
I'm really enjoying it because I have carried on with the show because I watched. What did I do? I think I saw. Do you know what this stems from? I was looking up horror action figures, as is my want, because I've got a few. I was like looking at the Freddys and the Jasons and Evil Dead stuff, and then I saw a line of action figures that was like Penny Dreadful, and it was like, right, if it's got its own action figures, it's horror enough for me. So then I may have less than legally watched the pilot, and then I immediately ordered the box set.
That's an interesting way to get into it. That's like the reverse of how you get into stuff. Because normally you watch the thing and then you're like, maybe
And
they've got
then you
action
want the-
figures.
Yeah.
But instead you were just like, they've got action figures. Maybe they've got a show.
Oh, it must be good. they must have come from somewhere. But I'm just praying.
The only thing I
hoping-
worry
go on.
about Penny Dreadful is that because Once Upon a Time does a similar thing with fairy tales. That they're sort of ripping out all these fairy tales and just being like, here they are all nicely laid out and like we're trying to link them all together.
And do they intertwine?
They do, sort of. Yeah, they do. In like flashback bits and modern. Like Once Upon a, it's a really like it's like the flashback bits of Once Upon a Time in that like all these like fairy tales are interlinked.
Yeah.
And I worry that it would fall into that trap of like I feel like Once Upon a Time is going to run out of fairy tales. But I worry that like Penny Dreadful, can it do as well with all of the horror stuff that it wants to do? Or is there some
Yeah,
stuff
I mean,
that it
this-
probably just shouldn't touch because it's a bit like it might not fit? Because the problem like Once Upon a Time had is it's trying to shoehorn in stories that just don't fit. They're like, well, like I can see it's nice that you've brought that character in, but why? Like Mulan
who?
does
Like
not need to be here.
Mulan. Is it a Disney-funded show?
No,
Oh, okay, I thought that
Mulan's
might
a story
be.
in its own right, I think.
Yeah, I was thinking that because I think I've seen like the Frozen characters are in there.
Oh yeah,
So I thought
that's like
that might
season
have
4 or
something.
something. But I haven't seen it because I
Okay.
don't care anymore.
But the thing I really, your point.
I mean,
there
you can
is
see the
absolutely-
worry, can't you?
Yeah, because I don't know lots about gothic fiction and that sort of, but I know a fair bit, and I'm sort of thinking, okay, well, after you've done Dracula,
I imagine there's a
what are you
finite
gonna
amount of it as well because I can't
then
just write
do?
more.
I was thinking perhaps they go overseas. They go to like Boston with Edgar Allan Poe stories and that sort of thing, or they do like M.R.
That'd be
James.
interesting because
the
even then
Hawk.
you could still
Is
keep
that
it in
M.R.
London and
James?
just have stuff pop in and out and visit them.
Yeah,
Because it would have been around that time that like, oh no, we would have already have like set sail and gone to America and just been like, this is ours now. And then they've gone,
I think
no,
Poe-
no. This is
I
ours
think
now.
Poe might be slightly later than when they set Penny Dreadful. Yeah, he was earlier, sorry. He died in 1849. So actually he was... but I suppose they could go back... Oh, they got the same characters. I don't know. But I am sort of thinking after you do Dracula, where'd you go? But I'm hoping against hope that werewolves come into it somehow, because I
What would be
fucking love
good
werewolves.
is if like each series Because it looks like they're what, like 9-episode series.
I think they're 13 again, actually.
That's an appropriate number, I suppose.
Oh no, it's 8. Sorry, yeah.
So they've got that's a good length, because then you can have like one big bad in like each series and probably run for 5, maybe before you run out.
Yeah.
And
well,
then
I don't know
at
how
5,
long this
cap
show's
it.
got.
I say
It's been renewed for
it's been
a
renewed for
third
3.
series. I mean, I haven't seen the rest of the first or any of the second, so I'm looking forward to watching them because it's
completely my bag, is it?
Yeah, see, the problem is I don't want to, like, I'm probably going to watch more of it, but like I don't want it to get to the point that like it's sort of like you're dragging this out a bit, guys.
See, that surprises me. I had a funny feeling you were going to go, yeah, I can see why you like it, not my cup of tea.
It's because like there are characters in there that I'm intrigued by.
Go on,
not so much.
Who do you like out of them?
I liked Josh Hartnett's character. He was pretty cool.
What's his name? Ethan? Is it Ethan?
Yeah,
Ethan Chandler.
It's America. I liked him because like I feel like as the only American character in the show that I've met so far in the one episode I've seen, he's so out of place that like and then he gets immersed in this other world of like, oh, there's vampires, and now he's like he's an outsider in London anyway, and now he's even further removed from being able to just merge with London by the fact that he knows that there are vampires living there.
See, it's interesting you say that about him being out of place and that sort of thing, because there's an interesting denouement. There's an event that happens in the 4th episode between him and another character that really, you think, for the time that this show's set, that would really alienate him even further.
Oh.
I'm not going to say what
so
it is.
like his character intrigues me by the fact that like he wants to like, because at the end of like the first episode he's not joined up. He's gone on like the one vampire spree of killing, and then sort of gone, nah, it's not my bag.
Yeah.
And then he packs his bag and he goes to the house but doesn't go in. And
I think you can read that as as taken as he does go. He will go back in.
well, he stands outside and then turns around and walks away.
Oh, okay.
Which I think you can take as he's not going in. But like I feel like he'll be back, otherwise he is pointless.
Yeah, he's on all the posters and everything as well.
Yeah,
A couple
but like
of
it's interesting as well. I don't want to see Billie Piper in something that isn't Doctor Who.
she is really, really good. Couple of points. There's one thing that I noticed while I was watching it, and I've thought this in every single episode, but they have some excellent hats. Like Sir Malcolm's hat is my favourite, but I really like Ethan's hat. I can't believe I'm talking about hats for fuck's sake, but they're really good. I really like them.
Well, I think like Victorian England had they did good hats.
They did do good hats, didn't they? You could get a top hat. You could have a bowler. 10 gallon, probably not, but
some sort of a mad hat.
a mad hat. What's a mad hat?
Alice in Wonderland.
Oh god, I'm so sorry. You said that. It was a beautiful joke.
I'm still stuck in Once Upon a Time. Because he's by far and away the best character in that.
He's not in the Tim Burton film though, which is awkward.
Well, that Tim Burton film's kind of shite anyway.
And the other thing is, there's a character later on who's called Fenton, and given, yeah, I couldn't take it seriously as soon as he said that. I was lying in my bed just watching it on my computer setup. Fenton.
It's pretty great. It's a shame
And on that note,
that one guy has ruined it.
well, I didn't know many things, dogs or people called Fenton, so I don't think it's a niche market he was ruining anyway. So
Yeah.
I don't think it matters.
But overall, I'd say like both the shows that we've watched this week, or 2 weeks, however we plan on releasing these, have been really
Yeah.
good. Like we've picked,
we haven't had
like
we haven't
some
had a
good
bad
ones.
one yet, have we? Are we?
No. Well,
Are we
these are,
announcing what we're watching for the next one, or are we keeping it another secret?
we can, because I cut out the ones that we couldn't be bothered to do. I don't know
But-
if you can see that.
Well, it's not that we couldn't be bothered. It's we're postponing them, aren't we? Because we need to.
'Cause
There's
there's a bit
secondary viewing. You know, it's
I know,
like at
'cause there's a
university
bit-
where they say extra reading you've got to do, and you're like, fuck off, I ain't doing that.
We've got so much extra. We've got to watch like 2 pilots, plus
2
at
movies.
least like 4 hours of films as well, which
It
is
would-
crazy.
It will be
or-
an interesting one.
What's been bumped up the list is an hour's worth of viewing at most.
That's absolutely fine by me. So yeah, we'll do. Go on, you do your choice first, and I'll go after you.
Well,
I'm polite.
I picked because I saw an episode about halfway through season like 4 or something, and it was funny. American sitcom. Yeah, it's definitely American.
Yeah.
That is called Modern Family.
Is that the one with the really flamboyant, larger gentleman?
He is.
Quite a camp character. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
I've seen.
it's
couple
really
episodes
like
of that.
it's one of those things. It's sort of like a weirdly interesting show. That like it looks like it's got some interesting characters, but obviously they've got that containment of it's a half-hour show that you have to be able to pick up and watch when you want to.
Yeah.
But it's in like the format of it's quite weird that I quite like. Is that like occasionally they'll just pull away and the characters will talk directly to the camera in like almost like a documentary style.
See,
But it's not because they're still in character.
I had quite a fun. Well, I thought it was funny, but I had an idea for a TV show. You know, like Most Haunted and like the Ghost Hunter shows and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
When they go like they got the night vision on, they're walking around and there's a noise. And I was, what was that? Oh my god, I'm really scared. And then it cuts to them saying like, oh yeah, at that point I just heard this clang next to me and I got so scared I dropped the torch and then I had to run away. And it cuts back to the action. What I thought would be really good is if you did that, right? So you have the cutaway, and then instead of going back to the action, it cuts to the ghost who was like, "Oh well, you know, I just wanted to get up. I wanted some water, and there was just this person in front of me. So I, tried to run away, and I knocked over a goblet."
That would be pretty fun. That's like a 5-minute YouTube video.
I mean, they're just coming into my house, man. It's not on. I don't want them here.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's cool.
All this ghost detector shit. I don't need this.
But yeah, so that was my pick for the next recording.
I've gone for Him and Her, which is another British sitcom set entirely in one flat, apart from the season where it's not, because it's in a hotel.
It's still like each season uses one location though. What's weird
Yeah,
is that both
to
of the
the
shows
point
we've
where-
picked came out in sort of like 2009, 2010.
Did they? And they're both comedies. Which is,
Yeah.
that was deliberate.
Which is
I didn't realise they were released.
suspicious. The way that we put all these like sort of similar shows together, apart from Critical and Penny Dreadful, and The Flash and Breaking Bad.
I think there was a nice affinity between Critical and Penny Dreadful, with like the gore being quite fantastical in Penny Dreadful and then quite realistic in Critical though.
Yeah. But yeah, Him and
But
Her.
then, like-
we can do that. It's pretty good. I've already seen it. And you've already
But
seen
then
it as
there's-
well,
there's-
so it's fine.
Him and Her?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I love it. I watch it on hard rotation pretty much. Okay, so that'll do for this one,
Yes.
I think.
It's been a pleasure talking to you, friend.
Yeah, I wish I could say the same.
Well, it's fine because you paid me to say that, so whatever.
Right. If there is anyone else listening to this other than us and our mums, cheers, and
We'll
see
be
you later.
back. Maybe we'll even make a full season. I doubt it.
Oh, that would have been good, wouldn't it? If it was just we're doing pilot episodes and then that's it. Did I say that last week?
No,
Okay,
you
that's
should
good.
have. Okay,
Yeah.
we'll just cut out that one and just stick in the other one. All right.
So,
Well,
yeah.
anyway, the one weirdo on the internet listening to this. Bye.
Laters.